It's nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
Yes. And so, matter of fact, I just sent out some messages, and of course, we got people all across the globe here in their timelines. Sometimes I forget to say Eastern Standard Time, and so I want to say welcome to all. And of course, we have a large audience tonight. Invites have gone around the universe, and it's Thursday Night Live. If we can call it live, right? It is live. Thriving Thursday with First Home Alliance. And so, you guys, if you haven't liked before, please go ahead and like. If you haven't shared, go ahead and share. And what we want you to do, go ahead and subscribe to this community. We want you to subscribe to the community. We want you to turn the notifications on. So, anytime we go live, you will get notified. Matter of fact, I was making some phone calls and they said, "Hey, Larry, don't worry about it because every time you go live, I'm not always there, but I know when you go live." So go ahead and turn that notification. There's a notification bell. We are showing right now, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, we need subscribers. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers. We're over 100. And so we want a 10x it, 10x it. We need 1,000 subscribers. We need for you to like, share, subscribe. And we want you to comment. If you give us your comments, and it's going to drive up the algorithm. So go ahead and comment and also share this with your family, friends, and your community. All right, Charlene, we're going to kick this thing off and go ahead and tell our audience, welcome our audience.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for our Thriving Thursday conversation. You're in for a treat tonight, or actually, it's a series. So you're in for a treat for the next couple weeks, to my understanding. And so, with that being said, let me just tell you a little bit about First Home Alliance, who we are, what we do, where we provide these services, and then if you stay tuned, you'll find out exactly how you can get in contact with us. So, First Home Alliance, we are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency established by our president and founder, Mr. Larry J. Laws. I think it's so important. I know y'all tired of hearing me tell a story, but it's important about the inception of First Home Alliance. And so, Mr. Laws, after serving close to 25 years in the United States Army, he decided to serve his community. I used to say that he created a job, but he didn't. He created a mission. And so, what is First Home Alliance's mission? Our mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families, along with serving our veteran community. Now, what are the services that we provide? So, First Home Alliance, we provide
along with serving our veteran community. Now,
as well
what are the
as
services that we provide?
so First Home Alliance.
Along with serving our veteran community.
Okay, so we provide pre-purchase counseling as well as loss mitigation services. So let me go back. Pre-purchase counseling. Now, what is that? Pre-purchase counseling. You're thinking about purchasing a home and you just have no idea where to start. So First Home Alliance will act. Basically, we're a part of your team, and so we're going to help you be able to create that team, build that team, because there is, a number of individuals that play a role in that transaction, and so we help you build that team so you can get to the finish line. So that's our pre-purchase counseling. We also offer loss mitigation services. Loss mitigation, Charlene, what are you talking about? So loss mitigation, that is, I currently own a home. I'm experiencing a hardship. Life is lifing. And so I need somebody to talk for me. All right. I need somebody to help me. First Home Alliance acts as an advocate on your behalf to talk to your servicer. What is the number one goal when we talk about foreclosure prevention or loss mitigation services? We want to make sure that you do not experience foreclosure. And so that's our loss mitigation. Also offer rental counseling as well as debt budget management counseling and emergency preparedness. Now, that was a whole lot. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? So, where do we provide these services? First Home Alliance, we are located in Virginia, Maryland, as well as the south side of Chicago. I always recommend that, stay tuned to this conversation. We got a real good treat for you this evening, but you want to stay tuned so you can find out, one, how you can get in contact with our guest speaker, and two, how you can get in contact with First Home Alliance to receive services if needed. With that being said, Larry, I will throw it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Charlene. Well, tonight we're kicking off a series here, and I'm thrilled tonight. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Lynn. She's the founder of Money Umbrella LLC, and you're going to hear a lot about the services that she offers. With her doctorates in expertise in financial risk management, she's all about protection first planning. That's what she do. Protect you as an individual and also your assets, tax efficient strategies, and making money work for families like yours. She's been featured in Force magazine and Global Women magazine. And she even teaches piano. Can you believe that? She teaches piano to kids in the DMV area. Talk about well-rounded powerhouse. You're looking at it. All right. Dr. Lynn's insights ties perfectly with the mission of First Home Alliance, empowering you with clear frameworks to take control of your finances and move forward in sustainable homeownership. Again, it's my pleasure to introduce to our guest tonight not only for tonight, but for the next 4-part series, Dr. Lynn. Dr. Lynn, welcome to our Thriving Thursday Live.
Thank you so much, Commander Laws and Charlene. It's my pleasure guys today. Now, I do need to make a little bit of a correction regarding my bio, though, because my doctorate degree is actually in piano performance.
Okay.
Yes, it has nothing to do with finance, but I have been working in the financial industry for about 2 years and a couple months now. So I don't know if that qualifies me as a doctor, but I try my best to help whenever I can. So yeah, I have a whole presentation ready for you guys today. I understand that we are trying to be very respectful of everybody's time, so maybe not too much of an interaction with the audience. But let me first show you my screen, and then we'll just take it from there. And let's keep this very conversational, because that's how I do things.
Right.
Yes, finance is very, very personal, and if we can keep it as human as possible, I would love that. Let me just start the live show. Can everybody confirm that they can see this?
Yes, we got it.
All right, beautiful. So class for today, sorry if I speak like an educator sometimes, because I did work in education for quite some time. So today we are going to be talking about cash flow, spending, and debt. Now, Commander Laws, can you answer something for me real quick? Let's say a person has a plan to purchase a home. What do you think would be the first thing that they should do before having everything planned out for a real estate acquisition?
Yeah, well, what I would suggest is a person finding out where they are, financially. And so basically just recording where you are and where you are with income coming in and your outgoing. So
wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. You got an A. Thank you, sir. So that is all that there is for the class today to understand, right? I would like to just lay out everything that you should understand about your personal finance, anything from cash flow to debt strategies if you are in debt. And I would also like to break down a little bit of a credit behavior, like credit score. We hear that word a lot, but a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to how to build up a healthy credit score for any lenders out there. So first and foremost, let me just repeat. My name is Dr. Ling Tring An. My doctorate is in piano performance. I have been working as a risk management advisor and advanced insurance planner for about 2 years now. My company's name is Money Umbrella, and you can find my website through www.mymoneyumbrella.com. And in case you have to leave early, but you want to get in contact with me after this meeting, you can email me anytime at ltafinance@mymoneyumbrella.com. So that is my contact card. Now, money is very personal, and I acknowledge that we all have our own story. So I want to start by sharing a little bit of my own story, my own journey with money, and the whole mindset with money and financial security and wealth management. So my background, I am an immigrant. I was born and raised in Vietnam for 18 years. And as a kid in a very traditional Vietnamese household, we did not talk about money at all. Indeed, my parents, every time that they had to have a conversation about money, they always shoo me to the next room, because my main job back then was just to go to school and, get as many A's as I could. So money was never covered in our family education. Now, after that, I came to America when I was 18. Met a guy, fell in love, got married, yada, 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 all the boring stuff. But then also, I got married to a Korean American. And even though he has a lot of traits in rooted in the American culture, but then also still the Asian part of it is still there. So when I got married, I did not have to worry about money as well, because then it's in the Asian culture, the traditional one at least, the male is supposed to be the provider and the protector and the person who take care of finance, right? And so as a wife, I was just a stay-at-home mom. I try my best to add on to the family income, but that was not my priority. And then reality hit at one point, because life happened, right? Like Charlene was talking earlier. She was saying, what did she say? Life be lifing. Exactly. That's how it is. Life happened all the time. And I got divorced earlier this year. And that was when I realized, hey, I don't even have enough equipment or enough knowledge to understand truly how the American financial system work. And now is the time for me to really dig deep into the financial landscape of America, the different methods, the different approaches to financial security or wealth accumulation, legacy planning, and yada, yada, yada. And now I'm here to just share with you my insights that I have collected over the last 2 years. So yeah, I pivot from music to finance. I used to be a stay-at-home mom. Now I am a full-time businesswoman, teaching piano and also helping individuals and families to take care of their finance the right way. And also working in the life insurance industry for quite some time now. I realized that there are a lot of, I don't want to say secrets, but there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to life insurance, and the impact that having life insurance and knowing how to leverage different life insurance product. I learned how that could impact a person's big picture when it comes to advanced financial planning. So I'm just here to help you navigate through that and share my insight for the next today and for the next 3 weeks. And so yeah, let's actually dig into the weed here. Let's jump into the water, and we'll talk today. We'll talk about the 4 spending categories that everybody has, and then I will also just maybe educate you on how I navigate my clients through how to find different buckets of cash flow if they happen to have like leakage, how to detect it, and how to fix it the right way. I'll talk a little bit about debt basic and the unseen consequences of aggressive payoffs as well, because if you are in debt, I understand a lot of people just want to pay off the debt as soon as possible, but there is a balanced approach to this so that you don't have to stretch yourself way too thin when you're paying off debt. And then last but not least, I would like to bring up credit score fundamentals and just talk to you a little bit about what factors truly impacts credit score and how to improve it. And if we have a little bit of time at the end, I will take a few questions as well, if you can just put them in the comments. So let's start with the 4 spending categories. Larry, how do you think, how expensive do you think it is to live in the DMV?
Well, Lynn, I'm originally from Camden, Arkansas, and I would say for me, it is very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. And that goes from I was walking today, and I walked a distance, and every street I went on, the gas prices are different on each block. I cannot believe. And I'm saying from one block to the next is about $1.50 just driving around the block. You can find the difference cost in the gas. And so, yes, here it is very expensive.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up, because I live in Reston, and the gas price in Reston right now is like $3.90 something the last time that I checked. But then if you actually drive about 15 minutes down the road and hit Tyson's, it's only $3.15. So yes, Gas change everywhere. And actually, if you live in the Fairfax City area, that's even lower. I bought like 2.89 the other day per gallon.
Yes. And so in one area, I'm 4 lights from the internet. I'm sorry, the Beltway. So if you hit that first gas station from the Beltway, you're going to pay the highest price. You can actually go just one traffic light up and it drops down to almost 60 cents difference from the first stop on the Beltway.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
That
Yeah,
is
but
the DMV for you.
yeah. But well, hey, I love it. I mean, comes the higher cost of living also comes with more opportunity for business
That,
and like job, right? Job opportunity, investing opportunity. I love the
that's true.
DMV. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's jump into the for spending category. The reason why I asked that is because all of us have some kind of essentials to survive, right? Let's call that the survival bucket, right? What do we have? We have housing in the DMV. Depending on where you live, it could be very, very expensive or it could be affordable. Again, it has to accustom to where you are. But again, housing, either you renting or mortgage, that is housing expense for you. Now food, because nobody grow up or, survive on dirt and air. Right, we need to have some kind of budget to buy food to eat. Utility, we have what, internet, right? Gas, no, insurance does not really cover in that. But what are some of the utility? Help me out here. Water.
Well, yeah, food, water, yes, and
So we
shelter.
got the electricity, we got gas, we got
Yes.
water.
Okay, well, see, this is why I have my two hosts to help me with this, because sometimes I just have a brain block.
Hey,
Um,
where do clothing fall in? I mean, I know we have shelter protect us from the elements, but you also wear clothes to protect you from different things as well.
I would say that the clothing could either be, well, it could also be essential, but it could also be lifestyle. It depends on where you shop,
Yes.
right? Think about it. If you just need clothes, go to Walmart or Burlington. That's easy. That's essential, right? But if you once you start shopping at like Bloomingdale's or Neiman Marcus, that's what we have here too, right? Then
Yes.
it actually goes more into the lifestyle
Mhm.
than just essential. So yeah, to talk about essential versus lifestyle, it's basically what you need versus what you want.
Yes. And I
Right.
think that when we speak about the need and want, you're talking about the difference in clothing, that food choices as well, where you eat, how often you eat, and things of that sort, and your appetite. But
Mhm.
so I think that is a lot to do with choices as well,
That's true.
and not necessarily necessity. There is a necessity to eat, but no, you don't always have to have the caviar or the steak.
That is true. No, but when it comes to food though, I like to think grocery as the essential. So like if you truly want to keep the cost down, then you could either buy the ingredients and then cook for yourself, do meal prep. That is the cheapest option that I know of. But if you kind of let go and just like go dine out, there are a lot of fees and service charges when you go dine out with your friends. So that would be more on the lifestyle, on what you want instead of what you need, in my perspective, right? But anyway, so yeah, you can kind of see on the screen here and kind of compare, the essential basically are the things that you need to survive.
Mhm.
And the lifestyle is more on the upgraded side, right? Beauty, nails, hair. I mean, of course, if you're a man and you need to cut your hair from time to time and maintain it, then maybe it could be survivable. But nobody has died from, I don't know. I don't think anybody has died from like having too much hair.
I
What do
don't
you
know.
think?
I don't know. I think you can get things caught up in your hair. It depends on your environment, especially if you're in a unhealthy environment, maybe I don't know, you're not able to keep, different elements out of your hair, out of your head. I
True.
think you could end up getting some ailments from having not having hair care.
That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this in the gray zone. It's all, like up to your judgment. If it's really, really affecting your health, then maybe it's going to be the essential. But if it's
Yeah.
not, and you're just doing that because, you have little money here and there, then it would cross into the lifestyle.
Yes.
Now entertainment. We have a lot of streaming services out there, right? Netflix, Prime Video, HBO, you name it. We have it. We have Direct TV, right? So this is definitely going to be on the lifestyle in my opinion, because you could easily just also read a book, or go out there and play football or something. What do you think, Larry?
Yes, entertainment. I think I heard this. Charlene have used that example or story before in reference to maybe some of the parents,
Mm-hmm.
single and multiple parents having and not coming up with the entertainment ideals or options for their kids. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's sort of when we were speaking to individuals about that, it's sort of
Mm-hmm.
like you talking about the gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that can deal with their emotional or sanity in reference to finding some type of entertainment just to occupy the minds of the children.
Yep.
And and some may consider that a need, and yes, and then where another person may just look at it pure entertainment and it would be a want. And
That's
so,
true.
but yes, it's definitely something that's to bring into each person's conversation and
That's right.
consider that is
That's right. Now, before we move forward, I do want to make sure that our audience know this is a judgment-free zone. What we're sharing today is just us, sharing insight. My job here is not to judge anybody by their lifestyle choice or whatever, but this is what I have been dealing with when talking to clients. And these are the questions and these are the areas that I bring up when they come to me with a concern about their financial picture. So please do not feel like we're attacking anybody or we're trying to judge anybody. This is just textbook when it comes to spending category and whatnot. So again, not here to judge anybody, just bringing this up to your attention.
Yeah, because some of the audience that may know me, when we have that gray zone, I
Mm.
have what we call a blue zone.
Okay.
Blue,
Blue.
blue, silver, and gray.
I like that. I like blue. Blue is my favorite color.
Yeah,
One of my favorites.
yeah, blue, silver. And
Okay, so the rest of the lifestyle would be fashion. Again, high fashion, definitely not call for, in my opinion. As long as you have something to cover yourself up and you look presentable, that will be pretty well maintenance in my eyes. Dining out also could be a lifestyle thing, or it could be a necessary thing, depending on your situation. But most of the time, when you dine out, you are also subjected to a lot of other fees that usually cooking by yourself at home does not, does not have. And then travels and hobbies, unless you travel for business, then it is counted as a business expense. But if you're just traveling for pleasure, then that is definitely a lifestyle thing. Um, Now, moving on, we have protection, savings, and investment. Larry, do you work with any clients who have concern about protection or saving or investment? Like how often does that come up in your conversations?
yes, well, that quite a bit.
Yeah.
We I think work with more of individuals that are becoming first time investors, and when talking about real estate or home ownership, and so they're first time, and protection is very important for them. You
Yeah.
know, and sometimes they're juggling in reference to how much protection, because not only they're protecting their asset, which is mandatory. I'm gonna use that term. By if they have a lender that is requiring that, they're going to have liability protection on that asset on their home. But
Mm.
most of them have something more than just that home that need to be protected, such as their income and other assets, and their life. If you want to say protecting your lifestyle, just in case. And so, but yes, it's a very important conversation, and I think most of our clients it aligns around affordability
Yeah.
versus and most of them I would say probably are under protected.
Yeah.
When you look at, but it's because the affordability of that for a first time person moving in and trying to get financially stable and bring in homeownership at the same time.
Yeah, honestly, well, thank you so much for that answer. But yeah, like honestly, there is a very simple formula for that, and I'm going to cover this in the next meeting that we have next week. But today, it's just basically just touch base on very um, basic stuff. So when it comes to the four spending category, the third category would be what are you spending for in terms of protection? What are you actively saving every single month, and what is your strategy for investment, right? So for me, in my book, Saving and Protection, the saving would be emergency fund. It's basically your rainy day fund, right? Your car break down one day, or you get hit by a driver with like decent car insurance, then it's going to come out of your bucket, right? So you emergency fund is one of the most simple thing to have in terms of saving and protection. It relieve you from any surprise and unpleasant surprise that can happen, because again, life be lifing. Secondly, we have protection. So insurance premiums are, under the protection. You buy car insurance to protect yourself from, accident and, unforeseen, unforeseen expenses when it comes to your car, right? You have renter insurance, you have life insurance, you have property insurance, tons of type of insurance, and those are all for protection. And then last but not least, I hope everybody is actively investing for their future through, contributing to your retirement accounts, or 401k, 403b, TSP. Larry, you are definitely very familiar with TSP, yes?
Yes.
Wonderful. And then outside of that, a lot of people also use, brokerage account or money market, CDs. There are a lot of methods and instruments for retirement accounts. And again, I will cover all of this within the next 3 weeks. So stay tuned. Now, the last spending category is the thing that we don't need to, but we want to, or we forgot about it. So the leakage. Larry, have you ever had those months where you would ask yourself at the end of the month, I made money this month. I know that I had money coming in, but where did my money go? How often does that happen to you or any clients that you know?
Well, it happens more often than I would like. Yes. Yes. And so Charlene, give us maybe an experience that you've had with a client that have more month left than money.
I think a lot of times when we complete our financial analysis, I think that the numbers that they put on the financial analysis versus when we go line by line through the bank statement is always a shock for them. So they put that, and I'm just using examples, they put that maybe for disposable income, I have leftover, $500 or give or take. But then when we go line by line, they just throw a number out there. But then when we go line by line, half the time, no, they're operating in a red, because you can always tell when you're speaking with clients, and I always ask, what's your magic number? And they say, what are you talking about? I said, what's the number that you need to have to come into your house every single month to make your expenses work? And the vast majority of the time, they'll give me this real pretty round number. And I'll say, how often do you go to Walmart and you go to the checkout, and when they give you your total, they say, oh, Larry, this comes up to $20 even. Very rarely, right? So when they give me that number, I'll automatically know, like, you probably don't necessarily know what your magic number is. So when we talk about that in terms of our clientele, a lot of times when they do the itemized line by line, looking at the bank statements, they're very shocked at what it is that they're actually spending.
And Charlene, usually what would be the reason behind that? Do you help them, find out why the leakage happens, or what would be the most common reason for that phenomenon to happen?
Great question. We talk about it every first time home buyers class. We play a little game.
Okay.
We play a little game. I get two people to come up to the room, and I give them 60 seconds, and I have one person tell the class, why do you have a spending plan? And then I have one person tell the class, why wouldn't you have a spending plan? And the vast majority of the time when I go to the person and I say, why wouldn't you? And the number one answer is, I don't want to know. I'm scared. I don't want to know that. Keep that negative energy away from me. If
Oh.
if I know I'm broke, then I know I have no business in Walmart buying something I have no business buying, right? So I think the biggest reason is fear.
Absolutely, and that has a lot to do with self-discipline and self-shame. To be honest, I mean, I truly believe that we should all be able to live a little bit, right? But when our own spending habit is shaming ourselves from knowing our financial picture, then that's probably when a self-reflection should happen, especially if we're planning for bigger things like real estate acquisition or like buying a business or anything to move forward. Don't you think so?
I agree.
Yep, 100%. Okay. So yeah, usually when I talk to a client who is having problem with their finance, the leakage usually happen because of some forgotten description. Or if there's one month that they feel a little more depressed than other and the emotional spending happen, or maybe the holiday they went a little bit over the budget with like presents and gifts and whatnot for their family. I mean, I understand the needs of gifting everybody, keeping the spirit alive and whatnot. But sometimes, we gotta be a little more self-aware of where we are in terms of finance, and your family will not go anywhere, in my opinion. And then last but not least, this is actually a true story. Bank fees and overdrafts happen all the time. I had to um, pay the overdraft for my little brother quite a few times in the past. Well, thank God he doesn't really live in America now anymore. But yeah, back in the day, he used to not pay attention at all to the bank fees, the overdraft, and the minimum payment, the minimum amount that he should have in his Bank of America account. So yeah, more often than most, I would have to come in and rescue him with the overdraft and the bank fee and whatnot. So people should always pay attention to how much they have in their bank and try to avoid these unnecessary fees as much as possible. Okay, am I missing anything else, Larry?
No, I think you're covering it. And I want to say welcome to our audience out there. I'm getting a lot of everyone say really enjoying the information. And so if you have any suggestions or you want to answer some of these questions, you see she's throwing some questions out here. Maybe experience. If you want to put any comment there, I will make sure to bring the comments up. But yes, so very good information there. And the leakage. I also think of the leakage as almost like some of the things you just like you mentioned about your brother, that individual's just not aware.
Yeah.
And some of the subscriptions, I think that's a big thing now. Subscriptions. And matter of fact, there's some software that you probably want to take a look at that is see actually how many subscriptions you have out there that you're not using. And
Rocket.
you say find it.
No, there's actually one that you brought up. It's called Rocket. So it will actually go through your statements and it'll tell you what you're spending, where you're spending it, and then if you could lower the bill. But yes.
Yes. And I used to use this app called Pocket Guard as well.
Mhm.
It tells you what subscription that you have, and if you don't need it, it even gives you the instruction how to cut off the subscription. Is pretty legit as well.
And you said Pocket Guard?
Yeah, Pocket Guard.
Yes.
All right, so let us move on. Now we have identified our 4 spending categories. Let's move on to the 3-minute cash flow method. Again, it does not have to be super special or super meticulous. Of course, you just kind of execute it to your comfort level. But of course, the number one thing that we need to know is how much are we taking home every single month, right? Your monthly take home income after tax, the money that you get to spend. Now, after you have that number, you write that down on a piece of paper, I hope, and then you're gonna go into how much money is leaving you. And don't worry about separating the essential or lifestyle. Actually, just use your last month bank statement or credit card statement to find out. And just use this as a fun game. I want you to kind of highlight them with different colors. Whatever essential, maybe circle them with like a pink color or something, and then lifestyle should be a blue, and then also separate your retirement account contributions as well, because that is something that we can adjust. Right, but the number one thing that we cannot adjust is your survival bucket, and that is going back to what we were talking about, the essential, right? Housing, food, utility, transportation, and debt management, debt payment. Those are the essential, the fixed expenses that you have to deal with every single month. And then on top of that, give yourself some lifestyle bucket as well. Now, after you write all of that on a piece of paper, I want you to use your income and subtract that minus your expenses. And then you are going to find out if you have surplus, meaning leftover money, or if you are in a deficit. I'm gonna go from the bottoms up. So deficit, of course, meaning you are not saving money and you are actually going negative. So we definitely need to diagnose the leakage here and find out what we can do to improve your situation. If your leftover money is less than $300, I'll give you an A minus, because you're doing okay, but you're on edge. And especially if you are not if you're using that money for let's say you have a big plan that is coming up, and you're saving money to buy a house. Definitely less than $300 a month is not going to bring you very far very fast, right? So that is a surplus under $300. Now, if you have a surplus of $300 to $800, you're doing pretty well. Now it's time to find a balanced approach between protection, aka risk management, and investment. And then if your surplus is over 800, I'll give you an A plus. And now is the time for you to enter the advanced financial planning, as we have many different instruments and different approaches when it comes to saving and protecting your asset at the same time. Now, a little bit about leakage. So you are finding yourself in a deficit, or if you are trying to improve your surplus situation, there are a couple of things that you can do. Number one, check your lifestyle, right? This is the time when we sit down and we do some self-reflection, knows the leakage, and we just look into what we could do to improve ourselves. Again, not throwing any judgment out there. This is completely depending on you and what you want to do for your situation. But the first thing that I recommend is to check your lifestyle. Are you spending way too much money buying coffee from Starbucks? Should you start brewing coffee at home? Should you minimize eating out a little bit? Is there any inessentials, any unnecessary purchases that you're doing every single month that you may be able to cut back? So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Memory check. Check your subscription. Make sure that you are not subscribing to something that you don't need. Maybe 1 or 2 streaming services is good, but 5 of them or 10 of them is probably a little bit overboard, especially if you're having some money problem. Third, so check your spending habit, right? Are you do you find yourself at McDonald's or some the fast food chain at like 12 or 1 a.m. completely out of emotion instead of necessity? So yeah, the emotional purchases could also be, one day you just don't have a lot of things to do. And this actually happened to me. So I'm just sharing my experience here. I found that when I used to be a stay-at-home mom and a stay-at-home, housewife, I made a lot of purchases on Amazon, completely uncalled for, completely the thing that I wanted to do, not what I needed. Right. And so that could also happen to you as well. So again, self-reflection. I've been there, I've done that, and now I know better.
Oh,
And then last but not least, I know this one is hard. This one is very, very harsh to look within, but sometimes it's also reality check. Are you living a little bit above your means? Are you driving a car that is a little bit over your budget? Are you making enough money to afford your lifestyle? Because sometimes, and also very understandable that we live in one of the most expensive area in the country. But yes, sometimes if you constantly find yourself in deficit and you don't even go out, you don't even buy unnecessary thing, maybe it's time to think about, up your income or cut down your obligations. What do you think, Larry?
Yeah, most definitely. And some of us, I know immediately some we will go and speak to someone and they may think that the first thing they need to do is cut back.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a lot of us already are living on a minimal amount. But I think what we forget is that there's a little bit more time in the day that you can actually go out there and increase your income. There's something that you can probably increase. So you do it on both ends. If you want to say burn on both ends, burn the stick on both ends, you cut some expenses but increase the income. And so
Mhm.
yes, that is one of the ways to help get things stabilized, and definitely also if you're coming through a recovery, to go out there and increase that income.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah, I agree with that 100%. I do have a story about this, but I'm not going to share it today. We're actually running out of time very soon. So I do want to go a little bit into debt payoff, because
Okay.
what is the one thing that you see people do when they're in debt? You would want to pay off the debt as soon as possible, right? At least this is what I have been observing.
Yeah,
Right.
you will want to. Yes.
Yeah,
But
100%.
but I would say the first thing we see is people is denial. And so they deny it. I don't need to pay it, or I can't pay it, or I don't want to tackle that. So
Mhm.
denying it. And so, getting past that and
Mhm.
then recognizing that, yes, I need to tackle this. So we need to get them past that denial first, that it need to be paid, and it will be paid.
Well, what I will tell you is this, Larry. I believe that our audience who actually tune in today or even spend time to look at the recording later, I would think that they passed the first test of like past that denial stage already.
Okay.
Right. So let me just bring it back to the debt payoff, because sometimes your debt payoff could be a little bit too aggressive for your situation. Has anybody told you that before?
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So today let's touch up on that really really quickly. So before that, we let's talk a little bit about debt basic. The way that you calculate debt to income ratio, the formula is very simple. You just use your monthly debt payment and divide that by your gross monthly income, and then you will find out your DTI score. Now, this is the following is the benchmark, right? If it's under 20%, then you're okay. You're manageable. Your debt is manageable, and you have a flexible situation. Now, if it's between 20 to 35%, this is when you start to have to watch it a little bit, right? Either, you need to come up with a plan to minimize the debt payment, or maybe, like borrow money somewhere, like from friends. I believe in family support, because I actually have done that before. I have rescued quite a few friends of mine out of debt, so I know this. But well, at that point, once it get to like 36% to 43%, or even over 43%, honestly, to you, Larry, if I'm in that situation, that's where all my egos went out the window, and I'm just gonna go, ask any friends or any families that I have to borrow to borrow money to
Okay.
pay off debt. Because if you think about it, right, if you are in a credit card debt at 30% or 40%, you could spend the next 30 years of your life trying to pay off that debt, and it's not going anywhere if you don't have a plan.
Correct.
Right. I actually have a client like this. He's in $70,000 debt, and the highest credit card interest is actually APR is actually at 33%. So
He's in it.
yep, he's in dip. It's very very deep. So now we are going to think about. I mean, not think about, but he needs some kind of debt consolidation. Now, the trick for looking for good services when it comes to debt consolidation is, number one, if the new APR is at least 5 to 7% lower than your current average, then that would be it would be worth it to try to use this debt consolidation. But then bringing down the APR, but not changing your spending behavior is not going to change anything. If you're just freeing yourself, like you're just bringing down your debt, your interest on your debt, just so you can free up money to continue your poor spending habit, then nothing is going to change, right? It's always mindset and options at the same time. So for me, lower payment and lower interest, but then also discipline and persistence, the consistency is going to rescue you out of debt, not just one or the other.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, this is just for some resources that you guys can use for education, because again, a lot of people who are in debt need to change their mindset and their spending behavior as soon as possible. So these are a few counseling organizations that target education first. You can look them up online, and they can provide free or low cost counseling, debt management plan, budget coaching, housing counseling. But first and foremost, it's always going to be education and adjusting the mindset. Now, when you're looking for agencies in the debt consolidation, there are big red flags to look out for. Number one, if they ask for large upfront fees, because sometimes they are just as predatory as credit card companies. So look out for those. And whatever guarantees you a debt elimination, sometimes it sounds too good to be true. So maybe cross-check, look for reviews online if you're thinking about using any agencies at all. Do you have anything to add here, Larry?
No, you're definitely, that's what you're speaking of is some of the scams is out there.
Yeah.
And yes, most definitely does. When it sounds too good, you definitely want to take a look at it and do your research, because there's, when a person is in debt, they're vulnerable. And a lot of times some of the scams will cause you to be in higher debt than where you started. And so it's very definitely good to you do your research and use credible sources before you join into agreements and give individuals money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So these are just the 3 organizations that I like to recommend my clients to. They will help you, consolidate your debt and also maybe change your behavior a little bit if you are up to it. Of course, nobody can force you to do anything, but watch out for yourself when you look for agencies like that, and do some self-reflection if you're in deep. Okay, so we're gonna pass this slide a little bit. Basically, this is just an example of to compare between an aggressive payoff and a balanced approach. So let's say if your surplus is $500 a month, but you use all of that to pay off your debt. However, you have no emergency fund. Now imagine what would happen if something as simple as a car repair appear and you have no rainy day fund. You are going to rebound your debt, right? Because now we have to put that on our credit cards, or we have to borrow money somewhere. So basically you just got rid of your debt, but then at the same time you're going back to it. So that is counter productive. In comparison to a balanced approach, let's say you have $500 a month, you use $300 to cover your debt, like assuming that this is going above your minimum payment as well. You use the leftover to put into an emergency fund. After 5 months, you have $1,000 in your rainy day fund, and you have pay off $1,500 debt payoff. So the rule is, as long as you don't, as long as you meet the minimum payment, you should not inquire, or there should not be any late fees that appear, and your account should be on a good standing. And this is the balanced approach that I teach all of my clients, because sometimes it happens like this. They're in debt already, and they don't have any emergency fund, and they have a bunch of expenses that they need to take care of, because of course sometimes bad things happen all at once, and they suddenly walk into a lump sum of money, right? The smart thing to do would be divide that into a different bucket, take care of this portion of the debt and then use the rest to continue with some expenses. But if you don't watch out for it and you fall into the trap of using all that you have to pay off your debt just because you want to get rid of that debt as soon as possible, sometimes it can create quite a disaster, an imbalance in your financial picture as well. What is your take on this, Larry?
Yeah, I really like your highlight on the emergency fund because a lot of times they're in that debt situation
Mhm.
because there was no emergency fund.
Yeah.
Because that car repair or there was a crisis in the family or something of that sort, and you had to borrow money. So some of these things are legitimate. Not everyone just go out there and overspend. A lot of times it's a legitimate reason that they need a lump sum of money to take care of something that's urgent, and
Mhm.
and they sometimes think that they can recover, or pay it back sooner than they really can. And then, and like you mentioned before, life keep lifing.
Yeah.
So,
Life be life then.
yes. So so having an emergency fund, building that emergency fund is definitely a need to do, and to prevent
100%.
some of the things in the future.
Yep. I truly believe in emergency fund. And this is a little tip for you. I'm definitely going to cover this later, but your emergency fund should cover at least 3 to 6 months of your fixed expenses. So number one still will be find out exactly how much you're paying in fixed expenses every single month and then multiply it by 3 or 6. Or if you have a rocky career, uh, do it 12 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially if you're freelancing. That's really, really important. That's risk management. I love talking about risk management, but let's not talk about that today. I'll go really into it really deep. Okay, last but not least, credit score. Ooh, okay. It's a funny story. Over the last 2 weeks, I have come in contact with quite a few people who told me that they thought they need to keep putting more um money, like more credit. They need to spend money using their credit card. Like they have to keep spending money to build their credit score. Oh my god, I was in pain when I heard that. So let's let's have a conversation about this. So what is a credit score? A credit score basically is a credibility score that you have in your lender's eyes,
Hmm.
right? It's basically answer the question that lenders ask: how likely is this person to repay the loan or the credit on time? That's basically it. So there are a few factors, 5 factors that it really like truly impact the credit score. However, they also have different priority as well. So number one is the payment history. If you had debt, you have a history of paying off that debt consistently and stably over time, the fewer late payments that you have, then the more credible that you look in the lender's eyes. That's basically it, right? So that's payment history. Now card balance, let's say we all have a credit limit on our credit cards, right,
You
Larry?
should. Well, some people may not, but they may have an open.
Well,
But
yeah, sure. If you have an Amex, like I'm not talking
yes.
about.
But basically, we have a limit.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the black card here, sir. I don't think any black card owner would tune into our conversation today, though.
There's a
But
limit.
yeah, anyway, most of the time, your card balance, your credit card should have a credit limit, and
Yes.
the way that you find out your utilization, I don't know how to say this word, honestly, never have to say it out loud. But anyway, if it's over 50%, then you need to do some adjustment in your spending habit. Now, if it's less than 30%, that is pretty good, and if it's less than 10%, that's the best case scenario. So the higher credit limit that you have, but the less that you spend, that will give you like it's gonna boost your credit score a little bit faster. Now, the length of credit history is very, very important as well. So the older your accounts are, and the more consistent that you have been actively paying off those accounts, the more stable you look in your lender's eyes. And then we have credits mix. Some people have a mix of credit card or car loan, like car payment, and blah blah blah. But then at the same time, as long as you keep a very clean payment history, as few late payment as possible, you will be just fine. Oh, whoops, we are running out of time. So last but not least, we have a new credit. Again, if you have a new card, you have a new loan, or you closing an old account, that is also going to affect your credit score as well.
Yes, well, it's definitely. Well, it's so much information here on credit, and I'm quite sure we're going to come back around and tie this up here. And you have so much other information that you want to continue to share. And you have been a gem, I should say, in reference to all the information you've been able to give. And so have given us some very good keynotes. And really enjoyed having the master that we talk about the 4 spending categories. And so we're going to wrap this up for this evening. And we want to say thank you for sharing all your wisdom and inspiring our families. And we're looking forward to having you again next Thursday. And also, if you want to go ahead and pop your slide up, we'll show this anytime at the beginning and end. If you need any more information, you want to do a follow-up and get more information on Dr. Lynn, please do so. And just in case, if you missed a slide and you do not see it here, if you missed a slide at any time, or if you need her information, then just contact our office and we'll make sure that you get in contact with Dr. Lynn. Okay. And so again, I want to remind our audience, we'll be back here next Thursday at 7:00 for our Thriving Thursday Live with Dr. Lynn, and also some upcoming events. We have 2 first-time homebuyer workshops. These are the whole day workshops. And for your convenience, they're going to be in the area, both in Prince William County. Prince William County, the McCourt building, that's going to be on the 24th. First Home Alliance will be facilitating that and doing the majority of the presentation there. We have invited some of our partners, community partners, that will be joining us there as well. And then on the military base, it is open to the public as well. But I advise you that if you have the STAR ID, it's easy to get that visitor's pass to go on Quantico. If you not have a STAR ID, you need a regular ID and maybe a birth certificate and some other things to get your pass to go on base. But for all you military individuals, of course, Thursday on January the 29th, we will be partnering with Virginia Housing along with some other community partners and delivering the first-time homebuyer workshop there on Quantico. And so please go on our website, get more information, but you can also check out the Virginia Housing website as well. And remind you to join us on Monday morning for Yoga with Tippy. That's at 7:15. And you can pull that up at any time to view that, to get in the right spirit and body and mind to get your day and your week started. I want to say thank you for joining us today. If you want more information about First Home Alliance, then visit our website at firsthomealliance.org. You have a good evening. And again, Dr. Lynn, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. And look forward to seeing you on next Thursday.
Okay. See you then. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.